Hi everyone, I'm Jamie from The Rooted Marriage, our online marriage community here at Stonebriar Community Church, and I'd love to encourage your marriage with this thought today. On our very first Valentine's Day date over 20 years ago, we had a very interesting and unforgettable experience. It was going to be our first fancy date, and David had made special romantic plans and we were going to get all dressed up for the evening. However, in classic February North Texas style, the weather changed and all of David's plans got dashed and he had to scramble to find a place for us to have dinner. Well, he got some sketchy advice from a coworker, and though we laugh about it now, the restaurant where we landed was one of the most surreal and strange experiences we'd ever had as a couple. And one lesson we learned that night was the importance of speaking up to each other and speaking for each other. You see, David desperately wanted to give me a beautiful romantic evening, and I desperately wanted him to know that I really appreciated all the work he had put into it. So we got ourselves deeper and deeper into this hilariously awkward situation until we finally looked at each other and said, "We need to leave." Like I said, we laugh about it now. In their book called Marriage on the Rock, Jimmy and Karen Evans address attitudes and actions that husbands and wives can do that can be destructive or disabling to their marriage. Although there can be many, these ones in particular can have a significant negative effect on the marriage relationship. These include dominance or high control, meaning it has to be my way. Distractedness, which is a lack of the priority of the relationship due to other interests such as career or hobbies and so forth. Passivity and enablement, which happens when a spouse does not have a moral or relational compass and does not stand firm on truth and values that are life-giving to their marriage and family. In addition, their partner does not challenge them to step up into those roles and responsibilities in the marriage relationship, creating a continuous cycle of withdrawal and frustration. And lastly, hidden immorality. This means cultivating habits and behaviors that are clearly against God's character and commands for marriage, such as pornography and affairs. These attitudes and actions can be sobering, and the fallout in marriage and family when they are left unaddressed can be devastating. So where is the encouragement in this? Well, in our little date story, there wasn't really anything we were doing wrong to each other, but when we talked about it later, we realized that each of us kept silent because we wanted what we thought was best for each other. It was like we were driving on knowing we were lost and not stopping to say, okay, we're lost and we need to ask for directions. Whether it's the busyness of life, the pain of the past, or the desire of your spouse to succeed and not feel pain or discomfort, we can all find ourselves in a pattern of behavior or attitudes that wear down our marriage. But as we cultivate gracefulness in our marriages, consider one simple but profound habit that can change your marriage and help challenge the ruts and patterns that are not healthy or helpful. That is, accept your partner's influence. The Gottman Institute explains accepting influence as you acknowledge that your partner has a valid point of view, you welcome it, are willing to be influenced, and maybe have your perspective changed by it. Accepting influence says you are important and your opinions matter to me, even if, and bonus points for this, especially if I don't agree with you. At our wedding, in a moment of focused exhortation, our minister turned to David and said, "David, always listen to what Jamie has to say. You'll be surprised how many times her voice will sound like the Holy Spirit." It was good advice then, and it challenged us to be open to moments where we would have to turn to each other and say, I'm not feeling good about this, or maybe we should do something different. It's not easy. And if you find that influence is consistently rejected, it can point to underlying attitudes like the ones I mentioned earlier. However, when we do, that celebrates what David writes in Psalm 131, verse 1 in the NIV. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. So don't be afraid. Speak up to each other. Speak up for each other and accept the challenge to hear your spouse's heart. We love supporting your marriage, and we'd love to continue doing so by inviting you to join us online at The Rooted Marriage on Facebook and Instagram for daily wisdom, encouragement, humor, and resources for your marriage. And as always, we are praying for you and your marriage. Till next time.